Are you looking to maximize your e-commerce sales and build lasting relationships with your customers? On today's episode, we'll explore how data-driven email marketing strategies can revolutionize your approach to customer engagement and retention. I'm Devin Hers. Welcome to the DMC Marketing Nugget.
Now welcome your host with the Daily Nugget Dose, Devin Hers.
My guest today is Dan Nikas, an e-commerce entrepreneur, founder of GearBunch and Elite Brands, and a recognized expert in scaling Shopify stores using data-driven strategies. Dan is also a Klaviyo Partner, a Facebook Blueprint lead trainer, and someone who has helped countless entrepreneurs achieve sustainable growth in the e-commerce space. He's here to share how he can leverage email marketing and drive up to 30% of your store's sales. Welcome to the DMC Nugget, Dan. Great to have you here, man.
Thank you for having me on. It's great to be here.
Well, I really appreciate it. Dealing with the world of technology here, we had a couple issues connecting, but we're here and we are ready to bring some valuable nuggets to our audience. Dan, I would love to hear a little bit about your background and really how you came into this marketing space. And I know email is a big part of what you recommend.
Yeah, it is. It's a different story. If you've got a moment, I'll go through it with you. But I started my career as a police officer. So when I was 19, I went into the police academy over here in Australia. Spent 17 years doing that. Ended up being a homicide detective. Retired from that. Didn't know what else to do. I'd never been to university. I'd never worked in marketing. I'd never got a trade. I had no other career behind me and couldn't do that job anymore. Had to find something else to do and discovered the world of online marketing, digital marketing, and found that I had a bit of a knack for it. I'd spent a career trying to find people that didn't want to be found. And all of a sudden, here were all these tools that would help me find people to market to. And they, in my past career, if I found someone, they usually were trying to hide from me, cover up where they were, and they weren't real happy when I found them in the end. But I had the flip side here with the online marketing. I had all these people that they weren't trying to hide from me. They'd tell me everything about themselves, whether they were married, if they had kids, whether, what area they lived in, what they were interested in, what TV shows they liked, even, what food they liked to eat, what they had for dinner. And when I did find them, which was a hell of a lot easier job to find them online, is they were always happy because I was putting something in front of them that they wanted, needed, or solved a problem for them. And I thought what I was doing was the same as everyone else. What I found what I was doing is a little bit unique. Probably given my background, I didn't come from a sales background and I wasn't traditionally trained in marketing. I just had this knack of finding people, and probably my biggest skill as a detective was I could get people to do what I wanted them to do and make them think it was their idea. So there was never any value for someone to talk to me. In fact, in Australia, if someone doesn't want to talk to a police officer, they don't have to. Okay. So I used to have to convince people to talk to me, but make it think it was their idea, it was on their terms, and it was for their benefit. So marketing actually transitioned fairly nicely for me because that is what I was effectively doing. So from there, I started selling T-shirts online through a platform called Teespring, which I think is now called Spring. Found that I had a real knack for meta advertising. Ended up launching a brand called GearBunch back in 2016, which is still around to this day, selling leggings, predominantly through the US and Canada, but all around the world. And it just exploded. Ended up doing 4 million in its first year.
Ooh, all right.
It just took off. And that was all on the back of meta ads. And well, at the time it was called Facebook ads. I just found a way to target people with their interests and, really focused by putting these products in front of them. And they sold so well. At the end of the first year, I got introduced to email marketing. And because I'd never owned my own brand before, I obviously knew what email marketing was, but I got introduced to it as a brand owner about the importance of it and how much money we were leaving on the table. And it was at that time that we just started to do it, started to educate ourselves on the best strategies on how to use it, on how to effectively communicate. And over the years, developed systems that it's not just blast emailing your list. It's about personalization, segmentation, the right message to the right person at the right time, leveraging the work we were doing on meta advertising and Google ads, making that work for email, and in turn making email work for our paid media efforts. So it became this whole system that works together, but really became passionate about the email marketing side of things, because what I found is that not a lot of people would, to start with, doing it, but the ones that were doing it weren't doing it well. If I came across someone that was doing it well, I was quite surprised, like happily surprised. But most people were still stuck in this concept that email marketing was you put a 10% pop up on your website and then you blast send a campaign out to everyone on your list whenever you felt like it,
Right.
whenever you had an offer or a sale. And there was no automation, there was no thought process into what stage of the customer journey or the consideration process they were in. You know, were they someone who might had a passing interest in your product, or someone who almost got across the finish line for you? So that's where my genuine interest came in to it. And over the years, that's evolved more and more and more. And, you know, probably the most obvious one in recent years, as in like last year and very beginning of this year, is the advent of the AI technology, which has become a huge game changer for us again in email marketing. And on a basic level, most people would just be thinking that we're using ChatGPT to write emails, but that is so far from the truth about the capabilities of what we're doing with AI and email marketing.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite a 180 career moves there, but I think that gives some of the authenticity that you're talking about that people don't necessarily see, or how you're able to approach people and get to know more about them and create those personal connections. So I know that you emphasize email marketing is not just a follow-up tool, and it could potentially drive revenue. So how do you explain how e-commerce businesses really leverage automation, segmenting that? You just mentioned segmenting, so important, because an email blast is just a general message.
Yeah.
When you're segmenting, you're able to really customize it. And some of these efforts that you're doing, you're getting up to a 30% of their sales through email marketing. I would say that a majority of us that are watching this show, and me as a host, would love to be able to pick up more sales from our email marketing versus paying Meta and all these other companies that are making a fortune out there on us, but we're not necessarily seeing the return. So what does that approach look like, and how do you really leverage that automation and segmentation to achieve the results you're getting?
Yeah, and just to clarify, it's not up to 30%. 30% is the average that we see in terms of revenue that we can attribute to email marketing.
Wow.
Now, we've got some brands that achieve over 50% of their revenue coming from email marketing, and that they are more an exception than a rule. So that I don't go out and say, we'll get you 50%, but that's because that's not what we do. They are brands or services that have products that have a longer consideration time. So it takes a lot more for a person to make that, a lot more time for a person to make that decision. And we do, tend to convert them on email because we can communicate a lot more to them for a longer period of time, and we don't have to pay to do that. Fundamentally, there's what we do when we set up email marketing is there's 7 core flows that we set up right at the beginning. Now, we use Klaviyo, so I'll use the terms that are within Klaviyo. Klaviyo is, in my opinion, the best email marketing tool for e-commerce, like just hands down. There are a lot of other competitors out there. We use and recommend Klaviyo. There is 7 flows that we create when we come in straight away. This is the very basics, and it goes through the customer journey. So to start with, Klaviyo allows us to connect up natively to, let's say, your Shopify store. It does connect up to other e-commerce platforms as well, but let's just use Shopify as an example. It also allows us to insert a little bit of script if need be, so that we can track people. Very similar to your Meta Pixel or your Facebook Pixel, or data sets they're now called. It tracks them. It gives us all the information about what they're doing, what they're looking at, what they're interested in, what they've clicked on, what they've added to cart, things along those lines. So to the very start of what we do is when someone comes in, we like to have, to the website, we like to have an offer in front of them. Now, that offer isn't just always, would you like a 10% discount? It could be, anything from free shipping to a complimentary product when you make a purchase, to a mystery discount, to a quiz, to a giveaway, whatever it might be. We need to work out what works really well for that brand. So fundamentally, the first thing is that they will see is a sign up form. From there, if all that person does is sign up, we create what we call a welcome series. That person then works their way through a welcome series. The welcome series isn't just one email that says, here's your discount. It is a series of emails that introduce the brand, the product, or the service to the user. And it says to them, these are our unique selling proposition. Here's what other people are saying about us. This is why our product is better than our competitors. Here's why you should choose us. We build this reputation, this trust, and these touch points here. That is what we do when someone comes and sign in. The next point of what we do is if someone comes in and they click on a product page, so not a home page, not a collection, they come to a product page. If they're on a product page, we'll call them window shoppers. I don't know if that's what you guys refer them to as in America, but someone who's come in and they're just walking around a store and they pick something up and they have a better look at it, or they look through the window at a product. It might be what they want, referring to a bricks and mortar store. So we like to call them the window shoppers. They take no further action. The scripts allow us to track the person about what product they've looked at. So that's called within Klaviyo a browse abandonment or abandoned browse. We create a flow about what people have looked at, that specific product. And this goes into the segmentation. So this person will get shown information about this product. We will then talk to them again about the brand, unique selling propositions, what other people are saying, any warranties, things along those lines, features of that specific product. So they are getting messaging about what we know they're interested in. There's no point in giving an email to someone about a pair of shoes when they were looking at a dress.
Right.
So there's no congruency there. So we need to talk to them about what they're interested in. The next stage of this funnel is what we call your add to cart. Now, I really harp on this because a lot of businesses get it wrong. Add to cart traditionally has been part of people's email marketing flows, but they were doing it wrong. So what a lot of people considered was their add to cart flow was actually people initiating the checkout. So it was once they put their details in the checkout, their name, their email, their address, but they didn't quite get to the purchase stage. That was what a lot of people consider as the add to cart. We take it a step back, and this fires when someone clicks on the add to cart button, or they're on the actual cart page, or they've got the Ajax slide out cart. The scripts and the tracking on Klaviyo allow us to see what that person has added to the cart without actually going to the checkout page and adding in all their details. So again, we talk to that person at that stage of that buying journey, which is slightly different to just, I looked at a specific product. This person has a little bit more intent. They've added something to the cart. At this stage, a lot of people add to cart because they might be undecided about a couple of products. They'll put a couple of products in the cart. They might be wanting to see what the shipping details are. They might be wanting to see what offer is available to them if they put multiple products in the cart. There's a lot of reasons why people add to the cart, and it's not just because life got in the way and they just didn't get time to check out. Moving on from that, the next stage is obviously when they get to the checkout. So these guys are very, very, very close to buying. They've added all their details in, and for whatever reason, they didn't get their payment details in and didn't process a payment. So those people get another flow altogether called abandoned checkout. Now you can see the difference in the messaging needs to be unique to the stage of the journey they're in. The way we talk to someone who's added something to the checkout is very different to the person who's just filled in our sign-up form or our pop-up. And again, it's going to be very different to someone who's just been window shopping. And that is exactly the same. If we go back to, I like to always take things back to a real tangible example, like in the real world. If someone looks in the window of a shop, bricks and mortar shop, their intent to buy is very different to someone who gets to the counter, goes to get their credit card out with the products that they want there on the counter, and then for whatever reason, their card gets declined or they get a phone call and they have to leave, whatever it might be. We need to talk to them differently. The sales assistant in the store would talk to the person who is walking around just looking at products very differently to someone who's at the counter and is about to process a payment. So we need to talk to them differently as well. From there, this is where a lot of businesses stop. So a lot of them don't have that detail in those flows. They might have what they call their abandoned cart or abandoned cart, and they might have a couple of emails when someone signs up to a pop-up. We'd like to go a couple of steps further here, and this is, again, still at our basic entry level. This is our foundation before we recommend turning on any paid ads, or if you've got paid ads, we need to build this out as quickly as possible.
Okay.
The next thing is we need to look at the metrics and see when someone makes a purchase, are they a new customer or are they a returning customer? The reason we look at that is because we want to talk to the new customer differently to the way we talk to the returning customer. Again, real world example, someone comes to the store for the first time, makes a purchase, you talk to them differently. I've got my favorite coffee shop in the town I live in. Every morning I go in there, I have really different conversations that, you know, they're almost like a friendship conversation. We need to treat them differently. And if I got treated every time I walked in there for a coffee like it's the first time I've been in there, it would be bizarre. Whereas now I go in and they're like, hey, Dan, want a coffee? And I'm like, sure. And they start making it, and then we just talk shit. We just talk about our day and what we're up to, as opposed to the very first time they'd be like, oh, how are you going? What would you like today? How would you like that? What size would you like? You know, do you want a sugar in that? Do you want milk? Or whatever. But you get the idea. So we need to separate those purchases as to new or repeat, and we talk to them very differently. And again, we have all this set up as automated flows. The next step that we have is once we know that a person has, and we look at triggers and we segment them and we say, okay, this person has ordered, the product's actually been received by them, because we can tell. So we know when the fulfillment's happened. We look at our average order time. We say fulfillment happened. We know that it takes, on average, within the States, 7 days for a product to get to the person. So what we'll do is we'll wait 2 weeks and we'll send them an email and go like, hey, we hope you love your product X. We know what they bought. Did you know that we also have this? And what we do is we're sending them an email that's an upsell or a cross-sell, but it's basically a complementary product to the one they bought. Sure. It could be a matching bottom to a top. It could be socks that go with shoes. You know, it's endless, and it depends on the industry that you're in. But fundamentally, we know we've built that trust through advertising and email to the point that they've purchased. We know that we've sent them the product and they've received it. If we know the product for the brand or our own brand is good, the quality is good, our customer support's good, they've had a great experience. This is real low-hanging fruit. Go back to them and say, hey, did you know you had this, that we had this? And that segmentation also allows us to see, let's not send that to them because they actually did buy that at the same time that they bought their purchase. So from there, we're looking at upselling, cross-selling. Now, this is free traffic. This is playing in your own backyard. You own this data. You can send to them when you feel like. You don't have to advertise the next product to them. You can just reach out and communicate to them about it. Again, talk to them about the benefits of the product, talk about the brand, talk about the warranty, show them how other people are using the product or experiences they've had with the product. So really just make them, hit on all of those touch points that are important when someone's making a decision about purchasing a product or taking up a service. The next thing we like to do, and this is totally separate to campaigns or SMSs or anything else that we do, and this is all going on, this is still just in that initial build out. We like to look at the people that haven't been engaged with the brand for a period of time. Now, this varies from brand to brand, because some brands have a very long repeat customer life cycle. So it might be a product that's of such high quality that we know someone's not going to be coming back to buy this product for 6 to 12 months, because that's how we sold it to them. We sold it to them that this is great, and you're not going to need to keep replacing this every month. So we can't go back to them after a month and say, hey, do you need another one? Because we've already told them you won't. So we look at the time frame of people being disengaged with us. So they're not opening, they're not clicking on emails, they haven't been to the website, they haven't engaged with us in some form or another over a period of time, let's say 3 months. Well, then we'll reach out to them. We'll reach out to them with an irresistible offer. Nice. And the key is here, this has to be in the subject line because we need to get them to open the email. But we need to reach out to them with an irresistible offer. And the reason is, And people are like, well, why would I give them an irresistible offer? The reason is because that's going to be cheaper to give a person who's been engaged with you and has been part of this life cycle within your brand an irresistible offer than it is to go out and convince someone new through paid advertising that you're the brand they should choose. So that's why we try and re-engage with these people. And there's a whole lot of strategies we can do with custom audiences and pushing them into Meta and Google and all sorts of stuff, but I won't go into that now. But basically, an irresistible offer, if they still won't convert, then we've got to, or engage, we've got to consider that that lead is probably, to use a definitive word, dead to us.
Right.
And, you know, the chances of getting them back are going to be pretty hard because we have set up such a robust automated system where we're sending them the right messages at the right time. We know unequivocally they haven't opened or clicked on an email or an SMS. They haven't even been to the website in a period of time. Those people are really disengaged. And if we can't get them back with this amazing, irresistible offer,
There you go.
and I'm talking it has to be a good offer. It's not just, hey, do you want 10% off? It's like it has to be something really good,
Right.
powerful, something to get them back, then we know we've probably lost them. And that happens. That's life. And that could be for a range of reasons. It could be the person doesn't use that email anymore, or they signed up with their work email and their work has put on a new system that blocks anything that's that's not related to their workplace. So, there's a lot of reasons why people don't respond to emails anymore. The inbox could just be full and everything bounces, who knows, whatever. But they're gone.
No, I
So
love that. I think that's a wonderful thing to think about, that email is not just that one tool to just engage. It's something that's helping you through the entire buyer journey, from what they're shopping, what they may not have converted on, and then you're even taking it to the post-purchase to help engage and drive an upsell, and then also the reactivation side of things, which people forget. And that 80-20 rule is focusing on those current clients that have already purchased from you. Much easier, much less expensive. I know as business owners, we love getting new leads, new exciting types of contacts, but the ones that we have in our database already, the ones that we've already worked with, charge that credit card with us, that's where a lot of that gold really stands. So I think that's the nugget there, is to make sure that you're segmenting from the very beginning how you're talking to your audience. A lawyer is going to be different than a tech person. A retail location is different from, someone that's actually doing a product sale in West Marine or in Camping World. So being able to talk to these people individually and then follow up is awesome. And then reactivating the old clients is huge. I know another part of strategy, and we use this in our direct mail and direct response marketing all the time, is being able to personalize the data within your email marketing. Now, on the print side, we use variable data printing, VDP, to be able to put a person's name in their company name. It could even be to where we're saying, hey, a reactivation campaign, we haven't seen you in the gym for the last 6 months. It's time to get your butt back in here. Now that's where that irresistible offer comes in. So can you share how businesses can use that crucial data that they already have to create those targeted campaigns and resonate with those different segments of audience when it comes down to personalization?
Yeah, and look, the personalization can be tackled in a few ways. The first is that we can obviously dynamically put people's names in subject lines. We can put people's name and relevant details, not crazy stalker details, in emails. Like, we don't, if you know what I mean. Like, so we can actually say, hey Dan, look, we hope you loved your new pair of leggings, and we actually can pick out the product that they, your pink sugar skull leggings, and we talk to them about the product that they bought. So that's one way we can do it, by using dynamic text fields.
Right.
Next way that we can do it is that we like to dynamically put the product that they were looking at back in front of them, or that they added to cart, because that is super relevant. Like, no one's ever going to complain that you've made their life easier by putting a product back in front of them that they're actually interested in. And we know they were interested in it. They either looked at it, or they clicked on it, or they added it to cart, or they proceeded to check out with it, didn't quite check out, or alternatively they purchased it. Like, this is the product that they're interested in. So put that image in there. The next thing that we like to do in terms of personalization is we like to take it back a couple of steps. Now, most brands, they they sell multiple things, they have multiple collections, and there's a couple of really specific examples of how we do this and this is how we get really hyper-focused and we get great results. So let's look at, we've got a brand, very simplistically, it's a pet supply brand that we run email marketing for. The first thing that we do in their pop-up on their sign-up form is we ask the person, we're like, are you interested in dogs, cats, or both? They sell products for dogs or cats, and they obviously sell products for both. But we need to know, okay, we're going to communicate with you. Dog people aren't always cat people, and cat people aren't always dog people. Sometimes they're both, but people are very, very much in their own camps. You either love your dogs or love your cats. It's very, I wouldn't say it's rare, but it's more common to be one or the other than to a lover of both.
So true.
So we ask them, like, hey, tell us, are you interested, do you love dogs or cats, or do you love both? We custom tag those people, and then we then personalize the content for them. A cat lover is not going to get information about our dog products. A dog lover is not going to get.
I love how you're talking about dogs, and of course, the world of virtual. There goes my dog right on cue walking by. So we're dog lovers here.
That took us hours to set up, so your dog would walk past and I start talking about dogs.
right on cue, bam.
Right on cue. Wow. But that's on a very simplistic level. That is what personalization is to us. So a lot of people just think, you put their name in the subject line so that they feel it's a personal email, so they open it. Yes, that works, but it extends so much more. A more complicated example is we have a pain management solution company. Now, we ask people, where is your pain? Is it in your is it your knee? Is it your neck? Is it your hands? Is it your shoulder? Is it whichever part of your body? And we allow them to select multiple one, because if I come in and I'm trying to solve a problem for a football injury that I have, I've got a knee injury, I'm not really interested in products that solve carpal tunnel syndrome, because that is not the problem that I have. So the personalization for me is that I get segmented through custom tags, and I receive messaging about solutions for knee problems. That is personalization. That is the power of what email marketing can do. It's not just we put your name in the subject line or in the email. It is, we're going to only serve you relevant content. We're going to only talk to you about the problem it is that you're trying to solve, because you told us that's what your problem was.
Yeah, that's a huge thing to be able to speak one-to-one. It almost feels like you're literally sitting there customizing that message just for them, even though you're using automated strategies, but the segmentation is so key. So a little bit off subject here, but also understanding that people may have thousands of people in their existing database. Would you recommend taking the time to go in there and adding the appropriate tags? So I'm just thinking, let's say our database, having those attorneys in one tag, having the retail locations as another tag. Is that a process that you would recommend before even really implementing some of this for your current list? Is really segmenting what you have first?
Yeah, if you have the ability within your CRM to be able to do that, and you hold that information, you've got that information to start with, definitely. And there should be custom properties within there that will allow you to do that segmentation. So within Klaviyo, we can pick up and create segments based on. So if a new brand came to us, let's say the pain supply company or the pain solution company, and they had a list of 10,000 people, the first thing we would do is we would go through and we would segment them out. I wouldn't just send one big blast email out to 10,000. I would go through and use the logic within the back end of the system and say, well, what collection were they looking at? What products had they been looking at? And we'll start to segment these people out, and we'll create some very broad categories. Let's say perhaps around solutions for different pain people might be having. If your email marketing system doesn't have that sophistication, a simple survey campaign out to find out more about them could be very effective. And in exchange, you could offer them something in return for completing the survey. The survey, what you would need to do is make sure that let's say we use radio buttons within the survey, we make sure that whatever one they're selecting, we're going to attach a custom property to that profile. So what is it that you're interested in? Are you interested in X? Are you interested in Y? You're interested in Z, or you're interested in all of those? And then we would go, all right, well, this person's interested in it, and would attach those custom properties. And in the back end, it would be automatically segmenting those people out into those areas. We would then build out the automatic flows, the automated flows in the back end to deal with people that are interested in X, Y, Z, or all of the above.
Right.
So that would be the way to do it.
Yeah, no, it's amazing how many companies that I speak to, and you're talking successful companies that don't even have a CRM to be able to do this. So imagine the amount of dollars they're leaving on the table. I mean, I work with a marine supply store, and they've never integrated any kind of CRM to communicate with these people. And I'm like, man, you're losing out. They don't even know that you do all this other stuff that they're potentially a client for. So that's huge. Also, yeah, go ahead.
But it's not even like it's not even like a fanciful number or a percentage that we're throwing out at people. Like, I even say to brands, like, if we come in at a brand, let's say a marine supply store, and they've got a list of 10,000 people and they're turning over, let's say, 100 grand a month. I don't know. I'm just picking round numbers out because I don't want to try maths on the fly. Stupid. So they're doing 100 grand a month. If I come to them and I say, I'll guarantee I'll add an extra 20 grand a month to your brand, to your business with our email marketing strategies, or you don't pay, what do you think they're going to say? They're going to say, yeah, sure, because it's a no-brainer. But how do I offer that? It's because why can I offer that with such confidence? It's because every brand we do it for, it works. It's not just an idea and it's worked once or twice. We've been doing this for 6 or 7 years now, and consistently. And I say that's a 20% lift. Like, I give them the floor amount that I think that we'd be able to get. The reality is, I'm more confident that I'll get them up to 30 grand a month, getting that 30% lift if they've got a list and not doing anything.
Yeah.
And it's a no-brainer for them. And I can offer that with confidence by using the strategies that we talk about.
100%. Yeah. I mean, any of our agency clients, we implement, the first thing is implementing our CRM system into their business. And it just totally changes the dynamic of how you communicate things, the time it's going to save you, the peace of mind that it's going to give you by just knowing that things are going to happen behind the scenes without you really having to do too much. Yeah, you got to set up the foundation first. So moving forward, we know technology, AI, we were talking about a little bit, but people have this thing called the phone in their pocket all the time. Emails, you're going to hear people say, oh, well, people don't open emails. Well, that's bullshit in the first place. You may have a smaller percentage, but you're still going to get percentage of people engaged. And that's where the consistency comes in, because just like a commercial, they may not need you the minute that email comes in, but a week later, 2 weeks later, something else grabs their attention. You hit them at the timing. So that consistency of email marketing. But now, with emails maybe getting a little bit less in the younger demographic, and the phone and SMS marketing becoming so prevalent, how do you see this really integrating to your approach to enhance the customer communication and using SMS on top of email to increase your overall sales?
Yeah, so and look, let's go back to a real world example again.
Sure.
How many times a day do you check your email?
Oh, I live in my email, so I'm in there all the time.
For example, okay, I set myself.
And my team members, though, they're using their CRM, they're using their phones, so yeah, I'm a little bit different.
I set 2 times a day to check my email, and I get a lot of emails living in the world that we live in. I'll do one in the AM and one in the PM, and other than that, I turn it off because I find it too distracting for me. Take people out of our world. People living in the real world, going about their normal life, work, kids, school, study, training, gym, all those sorts of things, they might not check their email every day. If they do, it could be once a day, maybe twice a day. So a lot does get mixed. It's not that they don't like email, it's just that they know that it sits there and it's in an inbox, and they can go through and check through their emails at a certain time of the day. Could be on their lunch break, could be when they're sitting down watching Netflix, whatever it might be. SMS is a bit different. I don't wait till the end of the day to check my SMS messages. As soon as my phone buzzes in my pocket, I get a notification on my watch, or I feel my phone buzz, I pick it up and I read it.
Yep.
So we need to do things a little bit differently. We can't SMS them as much as we email them because it'll piss them off, because we do check them more regularly. It needs to be very relevant to them. It can't be spammy. It can't just be like a blast email, send everything. We integrate SMS into those automated flows that we've talked about. What I mean by integrate is at that sign up form stage, what we like to do is we ask people for their SMS in exchange for an even better offer. Okay. So you give us your email, we'll give you this. And people are like, cool. We don't send them to a 6 text page. There's another step. It's like, hey, if you want exclusive discounts or offers or this exclusive offer, we will send it to you via SMS. We do that. We send people the SMS. They then engage with us. They've given us consent. Now, in these automated flows, so this person gets their exclusive offer. They then go to the website. They browse around. They add something to cart, but they don't purchase. Initially, we will send them an email quite soon after the cart abandonment, because the research shows that people are in that state of mind. We need to message them fairly quickly. I'm talking within hours, not days, to say, hey, we saved this for you. It's here. This is the easiest way to get back to the thing that you'd added to the cart. And it's dynamic linking, images of the product. Click on it, it takes you straight back to your cart. Save them a hell of a lot of time. Give them less jobs. Mm-hmm. The next stage of it, we will run logic in the back end and go, did this person make a purchase? No. Okay, we're going to send them to the next messaging step. Has this person given consent to SMS them? Yes, we will send them an SMS. No, we will send them another email. And that's how the logic works. The flows are a hell of a lot deeper than two. Right. They keep going. But periodically in those, we will communicate with them via SMS if they've given us consent. Is it every time that we would have sent them an email? No, because that can get too, I'm going to say, annoying. Right. Because I would find if I got the same volume messages off a brand as I do emails, I would unsubscribe because it starts to get too much. The other time that we use SMS is when we do have, let's say, the biggest offer that we have of the year. We've got a Black Friday sale. We will hit them with an SMS because we're not getting for inbox space. Then with other brands, we can communicate with them at a time that's reasonable within the time frames that we can send SMSs. We send it to them so that they're aware of it. They will also send them emails at that time as well, but we need to hit them on multiple communication channels. So that's how we integrate SMS without being intrusive. Okay. And we will layer it in with emails as well to see which one they respond to better.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's so important to understand too, because you don't know sometimes how many emails, how many texts you should be sending. But I love that approach of doing it when it's relevant, doing it when it's something special to offer them, something different. Yeah. Or to check in, see how their order was, or to get that review. Sometimes those SMS work really,
Absolutely.
really well.
Yes.
Dan provided a shit ton of nuggets right there in this entire episode, basically mapped out a whole workflow that you can implement into your automation and your CRM tools at home and at your business. Before we head off here, Dan, anything else that you want to convey to the audience? And I know that you also have a special offer, so why don't you go ahead and hit on that now?
Yeah, look, okay, the thing that before I go to the special offer, the thing that I like to tell people is perfect the enemy of done. I didn't create that quote, but it's something that I've lived by, and I would encourage you, whether it's getting help from someone like me or doing it yourself, just get started with it and try and do a better job than you're doing now. Don't wait till it's perfect, because it will never be perfect. If I hadn't started back in 2017 with the email on GearBunch, I would still be waiting for the perfect time, but I would have lost out on millions of dollars of revenue and learnings and education that I could have got by just starting. If you look at the emails and my system that I had back, what's that now, 8 years ago compared to now, it's cringy. But if I hadn't have been cringy back then, I never would have got to the point I am now. So what I'm saying is just get started, get something done. Don't wait for the time to be perfect. The offer that I have is something that I like to offer is to do an audit of your account. So we operate with it for our email marketing exclusive within Klaviyo. If you have Klaviyo or if you don't have email marketing, this is something that we can offer you. Klaviyo, we offer an audit of your account. It's obligation free, and we will go through and we'll say, hey, these are the things we recommend, the 7 flows that we talked about to start with as your foundation. Do you have them? Yes or no? If you do have them, are you doing them well? Sure. Some you are doing well, some you could add these in. These are suggestions you could do. This is what you need to do. Move the call to action buttons up higher. Talk more about the unique selling proposition. You get the idea. And we will go through and we'll talk about what you're missing out on. So if you're doing a fantastic job, we'll pat you on the back and go, keep doing what you're doing. If you've got room for improvement, we'll say this could potentially take you from earning 5% of your revenue through email marketing to 30% of your revenue. Follow these steps. And we get on a call and we go through that. As I said, there's no obligation to work with us or do anything like that. It's as simple as that. If you do want to take up that offer, all you need to do is go to elitebrands.org. Go to the page there. There's a big button that said, would you like an audit? Click on that, fill in your details, and we'll be in contact with you.
Yeah, we'll include that link in our description as well, because I think it's great. I don't care how wonderful you think you're doing. In my mind, there's always room for improvement, and we always strive to, whether it's using new technology, harnessing the power of AI, taking a creative stance, getting other people to look at it, because we're so entrenched in our own work that our own stuff is so hard to look at and realize that one little change, one little color, putting, like you said, a call to action button higher up, those things do make a difference and help with the conversion. So awesome episode here, Dan. Really appreciate all your insight on this. I'm going to get audited. I don't mind it. Tell me the truth of what's going on in our stuff. And we're always going to bring that to our clients and to our viewers out there. So anyone that's looking to improve what they got going on with the email marketing, definitely please reach out to Dan. CRM questions, any kind of creative aspect to disrupt, hit us up here at DMC. We're always proud to share what we've got going on. And this year, we're really excited a lot of the new solutions that we're bringing to the table as well. And they all work in this omni-channel marketing approach that we're talking about here. It's not just relying on one silver bullet that's going to be the answer for everything. It's the ongoing consistency, the multi-channel approach, email, LinkedIn marketing, SMS, tangible marketing, referrals, reviews. It all works together to build a business that's successful for years to come. So, Dan, thank you so much for all your knowledge, man. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's been great.
Wonderful. Well, that's a wrap of another great DMC Marketing Nugget. Go ahead, hit that like and follow button, listen on your favorite streaming apps, and visit DMC Marketing Nugget to watch all of our past episodes. Here's to your success.